Let's bring you this discussion now. Police say they're concerned about the increase in drunk driving this festive season. It comes after Minister Bheki Cele announced that 4,488 drunk drivers have been arrested since the 15th of October. Now, since the start of this month to about the 22nd of December, 2,500 people have been arrested for drinking in public. These figures have highlighted the plight of irresponsible drinking in the country, and let's speak more about this with the convener of the National Liquors Traders Association, like Ntimane, who joins us via our video link this morning. Great to have you with us as always, Likey. Thanks for very much indeed for making time. Really concerning some of the figures I've just read out. I mean, in the Western Cape alone, we're told that 200 people have been arrested since the beginning of this month. And you and I have a very similar conversation about this around this time of the year in, year out. But it seems for whatever reason, the message is not landing.
Yes, indeed. Firstly, good morning to you, Ayanda, and your co-host. But importantly, to the Newzroom Afrika viewers, wishing them a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Look, it is very concerning, the figures that you've just highlighted, especially as it relates to drink and driving. But equally concerning is the issue of underage drinking and also the binge drinking that we normally see associated with this festive season, where instead of people being merry, they choose to do irresponsible things. So we are saying, as national liquor traders, but also on behalf of the alcohol industry, that something ought to be done. But this cannot only be the responsibility of the alcohol industry. We need everyone, all hands on deck, community, society, to come together and address this important issue of alcohol abuse that we have in the country. I think we have tried for so many times to sweep this under the carpet, but COVID-19 showed us that we cannot ignore the plight of our people, especially with regards to irresponsible use of alcohol. Something ought to be done.
Yeah. What does that look like? That's something that you speak of. As far as the Liquor Traders Association is concerned, what does that solution look like?
So we take responsibility insofar as dispensing alcohol is concerned, where we cannot sell alcohol to underage. We cannot sell alcohol to anyone that we know that they're going to get behind the wheel. We cannot sell alcohol to someone that we see that has already had so much to consume. So we ought to put the profit behind and put our people first in how we conduct ourselves during this festive season. We know that the temptation is always there to make an extra buck, but I think we need to take a step back and play an important role as liquor traders to say, we are going to ensure that we set an example on how we conduct ourselves by creating safe zones and safe spaces that when people leave our outlets, they can go into their homes safe and sound and spend time with their families. We cannot have, people leaving our premises and now they have to be buried. And that's why we're saying that let this be the festive season to be merry and not to bury anyone.
Yeah, I might not be forgiven for my next question, but some of the researchers we've spoken to say among the many factors that lead to South Africans consuming so much alcohol is just because of how affordable it is. As I phrase my question, I wonder if you're willing to take that in as suppliers in the market and make the kind of alterations that may very well push us in the right direction to the price, perhaps. Has that ever been considered as a solution?
Look, we do not think that alcohol is cheap in South Africa. If you compare it to the price of bread, alcohol is more expensive than a loaf of bread, for example. But also, we have a proliferation of illicit and counterfeit alcohol in the country, which now amounts to about 20 billion rand per year. So people are indeed accessing cheap alcohol, albeit on the illicit side. And I think maybe now that we have this opportunity, let me just highlight that, our partners, Consumer Goods Council of South Africa, led by their CEOs in Kechikwe, have introduced a number that people can call anonymously to report this. And the number is 0800 148 856. 0800 148 856. This will help us a lot that we now start reporting this illicit because our people are accessing alcohol at a cheaper price, but because it is an illicit and counterfeit alcohol. And you saw what happened in Nyombe. I think the less said about that incident, the better.
Yeah, look, of course, compared to bread or milk or anything like that, alcohol is more expensive. But we're told that compared to our peers on the continent, perhaps even in the world, a glass of beer, for example, is much cheaper in this country than anywhere else. But perhaps you don't reckon the solutions lie there. It's also important, of course, to acknowledge that in many instances, when there is illicit alcohol being sold, it is under the auspices and given the there's an approval of people who have the ability to stop it. What do I mean by that? Typically, there are many people who are in on it. And those who are meant to be blowing the whistle, quite frankly, have an interest in not doing so, which complicates our ability to try root this out, doesn't it?
No, indeed, you are correct. If you look at the players behind illicit and counterfeit alcohol, these are big people because they have now established a proper route to market, meaning that they know which taverns or even distributors to supply this product to. So we're not talking about small boys. Hence, you look at the number being 20 billion rand per year, and that number is still growing. But also, I think maybe if we take it a step back, we need to understand that, in South Africa, people also turn to alcohol, and this is what research shows, as an escapism, as a way of people wanting to get out of, the myriad of challenges that they face in their communities, where you get someone who does not even have a job, but, they have access to alcohol. We need to understand what leads people to drinking the way they do. I mean, we travel across Africa as national local traders, and we've seen the way people drink there. But when you look in South Africa, people seem to, take a very special interest in that bottle. What is it that causes people to have this unfriendly relationship with alcohol? We need to address that matter.
Absolutely. Like Ntimane, as always, thanks for your time. Really do appreciate you weighing in. Like Ntimane is the convener of the National Liquors Traders Association. Thanks once again.